Onto this now. Personal protective equipment meant for pupils and teachers are apparently being stolen out of schools. The Basic Education Department says it's concerned about this trend. The grades 7 and 12 pupils are expected to return to school on Monday. For more on this, we are joined by the department's spokesperson, Elijah Mhlanga. Mr. Mhlanga, thank you very much for your time. I want to begin with your assessment throughout the 9 provinces of the attendance of school management teams alongside teachers yesterday.
Good morning, Chloe. Yes, in some schools, teachers and SMTs went back to work yesterday. But remember, in certain provinces, the education departments did indicate to the workers that they must not go back because they were still finalizing the delivery of PPE material and other matters that were still outstanding. So we did not expect that in all provinces the workers would be there. But we did see that in some schools in certain provinces, training of teachers and SMTs was underway, even though they were not necessarily at school. But we're encouraged with what we saw yesterday, and believe that the rate of attendance will continue to increase in the coming days.
Percentage-wise, where would you put it in as far as all these provinces are concerned?
No, it's difficult to put a percentage-wise because in KwaZulu-Natal, the MEC said on Sunday that they should not go back to work. They should only return on Thursday. And you can only come up with a percentage if everyone is in school, and then we're able to get a clear picture of how things were. For example, in Limpopo, they are going back today. So only when everyone is in school will you know what would have happened nationwide. But for now, we know that provinces are preparing to have their workers back, and all of them are focusing on safety. That's why they've advised teachers and non-teaching staff to say if the school is not ready, don't go to the school until such time that all the required material has been delivered. So that's where we are right now. The minister will meet MECs again on Thursday to do another round of assessment to see how things are standing nationwide.
Yeah. Mr. Mhlanga, let me touch on this subject perhaps finally. The education unions have been quite emphatic that 7 out of the 9 provinces are simply not ready to receive pupils nor teachers come the 1st of June. And they are clear that they have eyes and ears on the ground in the form of principals who have been surveyed. What kind of monitoring systems are you using to contradict that evidence?
Well, it cannot be true for you to say that an entire province is not ready, because in every province you would have seen that people went out to work in the different schools. So you can't put a blanket statement like that and say this province is not ready, when in fact certain districts are ready, certain schools are ready, and certain circuits are ready. And a lot of work is being done all over the place. That's the first thing. The second thing is that the department, in fact the minister last week announced that she has appointed a consortium of organizations, a company that will be conducting an independent audit to find out where we are in terms of state of readiness and to also support provinces with compliance in terms of the COVID requirements. So that work is currently underway, and we will be receiving reports from them, which will be independent. You've got credible organizations there, such as the HSRC, Plus 94 Research, NECT is leading that consortium. So you have organizations that will be doing the work, and they will be giving the nation an independent report of where we are, as opposed to using anecdotes to say that schools are not ready.
Mr. Mhlanga, the statement that you issued last night also spoke about a number of schools being broken into and COVID-19 consignments being stolen. Where exactly did this happen, and how rife is this issue?
Well, it seems to be increasing, and it is quite disturbing. In KwaZulu-Natal, about 2 schools, the MEC reported that 2 schools were broken into within days after the deliveries were made, and the entire consignment in those 2 schools were stolen. But we also received a report from Gauteng, which also indicated that a school was broken into twice in less than 48 hours, and there again, the PPE material was stolen, and in Soweto, there was an attempted break-in as well. So this is something that is taking place now, which is actually making provinces nervous about when exactly to deliver the material. That's why.
Quick follow-up, Mr. Mhlanga. I'm sorry to interrupt your thought process. You've previously said to us that you are unable to provide security at schools. How are you going to protect these consignments then?
People break into the strong rooms. They use equipment to break in. So this means that we need to work together. Members of the communities need to work with the police to make sure that the perpetrators are brought to book, because the capacity to protect a school lies right there in the community where the school is located. So we need to do what we used to do in the past to protect our schools and make sure that no one breaks in and causes damage to the school. Right now, we've got 1,577. In fact, the number has increased. It's fast approaching 2,000 schools that would have been vandalized since the lockdown began, and that cannot be accepted. All of us need to work together to make sure that all these public facilities are protected.
Yeah, Mr. Mhlanga, very, very briefly, I am out of time. In fact, I'm actually breaking the rules here, but I've got to put this question to you. The early childhood development centres, they seem to be in limbo. The minister, if memory serves, has not quite addressed that issue. And I ask you this on the back of the news that a second child under the age of 9 has died of COVID-19 related complications. What is the department's approach to the ECD sector?
The ECD centres at the moment, they are the responsibility of the Department of Social Development. So what happens is that the Department of Social Development and Basic Education work together on ECD centres and all that needs to happen. So those discussions are ongoing. Later on this week, the minister will issue a range of directives, and we hope that in that communication there will be something said about ECD centres. In fact, the social cluster will be briefing media today. We hope too that those questions will be answered, because the Minister of Social Development is expected to be addressing the media. So that question could easily go through to that minister, and she will be able to handle it. We know that it's been an issue that people have been asking about, and the response will come insofar as that one is concerned.
Elijah Mhlanga, thank you very much for your time speaking for the Basic Education Department.